self-medication. I feel anxious, right? I feel anxious when I'm at a party. You know, I was surprised to read actually over 60% of 12th graders have abused alcohol in the last 30 days. I said 60%, that's a lot of young people. That's a lot of young people. Of course, peer pressure. And this is, of course, in the younger population, right? Come on, you'll have a good time. But they don't realize. So environment. Because if they're vulnerable in their freshman year, that peer pressure is going to get to them. If they don't feel good about themselves and they have a poor sense of self, that peer pressure is going to get to them. Because it does exactly what all the professionals have been saying. What's the common thread? It anesthetizes a part of us. It numbs a part of us. So very quickly, I want to show you the changes that happen in the brain. Again, dopamine was mentioned. This is the feel-good substance. I just want you to look at this graph real quick. This is in mice. You can see when the mouse is not eating, the box is empty, there's a little bit of dopamine release. This is how we feel wellness, as Dr. RT said. This is how we feel good. That chai, I love chai. A little bit of dopamine being released as I'm sipping the chai, right? So you get a bump. You're going to say, oh, that tastes good. But I just want you to look at, this is for amphetamines, but I just want you to look at the scale, look, 100 to 150. 1,000. You can't compete with that. You can't tell a person who's addicted, listen, your life is going to be stress-free when you stop. No. They were like, listen, I got everything numbed out right now, it's stress-free. But I got a lot of pain because the rest of my life is falling apart. Now, so what happens essentially is the brain says, whoa, way too much dopamine in here. Take the receptors down. It can't control the amount of dopamine because that's the more drinking you do, the more dopamine gets released. The more drugs you do, the more dopamine gets released. The brain says, take those receptors down. And that's what we see. Dopamine receptors are lower in addiction. Lots of red, right? Lots of red. This is your normal. And you can see there's much fewer red in this column. They've been downregulated. Also notice, doesn't matter how you get there. Coke, alcohol, heroin, pills, marijuana. All of them cause these changes in the brain. Right? Now, lots of red, that's normal. This person, a month after they stopped, not much red back. This is 4 months after they stopped. Now it's just starting to come back because the brain is saying, where's all that dopamine? Put the receptors back up. It takes about 2 years. So treatment works if you stay in it, right? Treatment works if you stay in it because, a lot of people, okay, I've been in treatment therapy 6 months. Okay, am I done? Right? We know our goal is what? In adolescence, we want to, as we know, the younger people understand risk, use goes down. That's why we're doing this even tonight, right? We want everyone to understand the risks of alcohol and drugs. All right, so that was really the first part. The part I really want to get into is when do you intervene? And prevention is the key. Before you have the problem, before you have the dependence problem. So like when it's in use, you see a kid who's using, or kid got DUI, let's say 17. Not when the third DUI, you say, okay, I'm gonna go to the doctor now, right? Prevention is the key. Unfortunately, when do most people come in? When it's crisis, right? There's crisis, there's DUI, needle in the arm, overdosed, whatever the situation is. Why? Because of stigma. I can't go to the psychiatrist, or I can't be in therapy. I can't be in therapy. I have something wrong with me if I'm in therapy, right? Have a professional with you, it just works better. No matter what field you're in, just think of your own field. Your expertise, you offer it to somebody, they're gonna have a better outcome. It's really that straightforward. Actually, I heard this joke. So as a parent, as an adult, if you suspect something, follow your gut. Follow your gut. I wanted to quickly what is mental health? I want to define it. This is the World Health Organization definition. Mental health, I'm going to go slow because I really want people to hear the words, is not mere absence of mental illness, but it is a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with normal stresses, can work productively and fruitfully, and contribute. That's mental health. Because a lot of people don't have mental illness, but they're not too mentally healthy. They have a tough time realizing their own abilities. Well, I tried these 3 things, it didn't work out. Now, I do this, whatever it might be. I'm an addict. That's all. I can only work at Dunkin' Donuts. That's it. Now, my point is, abilities. And how many times do I hear people saying, I can't do that? In my office, I have, a sign saying, are you in the I can space or the I can't space? Where are you living? Ask yourself. You probably don't even realize that half the time you're in the I can't do it. Can't do it. Always the tapes. The tapes. Versus I can. Gotta be able to cope. Can't cope? Well, that shot of alcohol helped me cope. I was so tired. Well, that helped. Thanks, right? But there's problems downstream. These defenses, when you develop them, we have to remember we develop them for a reason. There is an upside. It decreases stress. It relaxes your muscles, etc., etc. But of course, people don't quit because of the pros. You quit because of the cons. All right, so I'm going to focus on a few quick slides for kids. What do you need to know for parents? A child gets through age 21 without smoking, abusing alcohol, using illegal drugs, virtually never to do so. That's the goal. Get them to 21. Doesn't mean it's impossible. You got to get them to 21. Okay? You are the messenger that your children are the most likeliest to listen, even if you don't feel so close to them. You know when kids start looking for other ways to feel good about themselves? When they feel disconnected. In fact, that's the George Valiant out of Harvard University, psychiatrist, studied AA members for 40 years. You know what he found? The key ingredient? Fellowship, connection. I'm not alone in this. And that's what I kept hearing in everybody's story. I'm not alone. I can do this. I'm not alone. I can do this. Right? Help children find ways to communicate with family members. Safe places to turn to. If they think you're going to slap them, you think they're going to tell you? Really? Right? It's not going to. You think if they say, "Arey, bevkoof, kya kar rahe ho?" You think they're going to tell you? They're not going to tell you. They're going to be too ashamed. Rather than saying, you know what? I've made mistakes. If you make a mistake, the worst thing you can do is lie to me, because then I can't help you. And this is actually what I tell my patients. The same thing. I say, listen, I can't save you. I just want to be clear on this. I can help you save yourself, right? But you got to do the work. So you have to find ways to communicate, to solve problems. I think you got it. Message for alcohol. No, never. You're under 21. Why, Dad? Why? Listen, it's real simple. That's just the way the laws are written. When you're 21, okay, you can make a decision. The answer is no. Why? Because it's against the law. Now, we wonder why we say, okay, you can sip on a glass of wine with us at dinner, but then the kid is going 85 on the Garden Parkway. Why is he breaking the law? He doesn't think the laws apply to him. Because we've given them mixed messages. You can do this, but not that. And we display mixed messages. I'll tell you, the 6 words my psychoanalyst said to me a number of years ago that stuck with me, actually about my son. He said, he will do what you do. Right? He will do what I do. In fact, I read something by Jung, and he said, and it was about personality. It was about personality. And he describes personality development. He says it's the process of individuation, becoming an individual through conscious awareness, making what is unknown known. Think about when you were younger, right? What we thought we knew everything when we were, and now think about what you know. Clearly, we didn't know as much as we know now, right? But then you really thought you knew. So of course you're getting more insights, more insights. So that's what he's saying. The more insights we have, the more conscious we become of who we are and how we got here and what our life story is, the more you can change the blueprint. So last piece, he said, in the second half of life. And I said, in the second half of life? I go, what's that supposed to mean? I go, that's interesting, isn't it? Basically what he's saying is we really don't become aware till we get into our somewhat older years. We think the next best thing, we think that Rolex watch is going to make me feel awesome. Or maybe the RS7, 600 horsepower, gets up and goes, right? I'm sure your buddies at school, right? I know, I was your age, right? This is what you think it's about. You know that $75,000 is the number, up to which people think they're going to be happier. You think you'll be happy? Yes. 60,000, you got a raise, are you happier? Yes. 70,000, are you happier? Yes. Something funny happens around 70, 80,000. People stop rating their happiness higher. I think it's because your basic needs are taken care of. You're not worried about food, shelter, clothing. Now you're left with what? Your mind and how you see the world. If you see it as never enough, that's how it will become. You know. So our story stays with us. Our stories stay with us, right? So, message for smoking illegal drugs, same thing. No, it's illegal. It's real simple. You don't have to come up with any fancy stories of some reasons of why you did, and they can or can't. Straight up, you follow the rules. Alcohol, not a rite of passage to becoming an adult. Young people who start drinking before the age of 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol-related problem. So you think, you know what, that sip is not a big deal. Trust me, it's a big deal. And if you've already allowed it, stop it now. Never too late, right? For any of us to wake up. And also remember, persons who are over 21 are criminally responsible for underage drinking that occurs in their house. Okay? It's a problem. You don't want to get into that, right? You want to avoid it. It's a problem. Okay, what can we do? What can we do? Last few slides. Columbia Addiction Institute, they basically look 5 to 7 family dinners per week, 0 to 2 family dinners per week. That's all they told them to do, have dinner. Didn't tell them what to talk about, didn't tell them how long to sit, right? But clearly, just from sitting around the table, substance abuse rates are lower. I thought that was amazing. You know why? Because now you're gonna be like, you know, Johnny, what's going on? I didn't like that kid. Who were you with that you were standing outside with? Rather than, you never even know. Because, and if you can't do 5 to 7 dinners, you know what? Do 3 dinners, a lunch, and a couple breakfasts. You know, make sure that we're advocating this.